I certainly was thinking to myself that the Yankees are getting all the conversation, and rightfully so. They got swept by the Miami Marlins. Yes, the Miami Marlins have closed the gap on your New York Yankees, but I'm like, hey, hold on. The Mets got swept by a 500 team. The Mets got, well, not swept. They lost a series at home to a 500 team that they swept the week before. Neither side is good enough. Neither one is good enough. And both needed wins tonight. My thought today was okay, Max Fried on the mound, must win. Max effort, stop the bleeding. Sean Manaea, another outing. Sean Manaea, a guy that you're going to be counting on, that you brought back part of this offseason, that you're going to hand the ball to in October. Got to feel pretty good about having those two guys on the mound, right? Well, it started off okay on both sides. Let's start with the Mets first. They played first. Their game ended first, and their fans have probably gone to bed and are not on the edge of their seats waiting to hear Keith McPherson's opinion on the make it happen Mets. But I definitely thought they were going to make it happen today. You know, Sean Manaea was going just fine until that sixth inning. You know, Sean Manaea was kind of giving you the hope, but it's like it's one thing and the other. The very expensive Fab Four, the rest of the Mets lineup not hitting, not scoring runs, kind of leaving a lot to be desired. But yeah, let's fast forward to that sixth inning. The great Sweeney Murdy used to say, 3-run home runs win ball games. And in that inning, Steven hit the Kwan singles. Angel Martinez hit by pitch. Wild pitch. And it's like, okay, hold on now. We're unraveling a little bit here. 1-0 after a David Fry single. 2-0 after Carlos Santana single. So nothing crazy yet, just small ball, just giving them, the wild pitch. And then you got runners on, and then Gabriel Arias breaks it open with his 8th homer of the year, and a 3-run bomb makes it 5-0 Guardians, where you're like, okay, now I think I'd heard on the broadcast the Mets hadn't, come back from anything more than being down 4. So if they were going to come back last night, it was going to be the biggest comeback of the year. Well, 3-run home runs win ball games. How about we match it with one? Bottom of the 6th, you get Lindor up. You get Juan Soto up. And, Lindor reaches on a wild pitch as well. He strikes out, but wild pitch, he gets on. Then Juan Soto reaches on a fielder's choice. And here comes MVP, paid Pete Alonso. Don't include him in the struggles. He's come out of it. He is smelling that record. He is smelling that opt-out. He is smelling that bag of money that he's still going to get. It was just a little bit of a rough patch. Go look at his last 7 games, not his last 15. In his last 7 games, he's got 7 hits, 3 homers, 9 ribbies. He's giving you some clutch moments like tonight and over the weekend, tying the game. But that made you feel like, okay, we're in this thing. That made you feel like, hold on. We've got the bullpen. If we can get to the Guardians, who don't have Emmanuel Clase, if we can get to the Guardians, what are the Guardians playing for this year? Right? That team, they're a cakewalk. That's the cakewalk team that the Yankees beat to get to the World Series. Gotta win this game tonight. Again, I remind you that the Mets' largest comeback of the year would have been tonight, coming back to tie that up. And they do. They rally. The rally pimp was in attendance, so you knew the make it happen Mets were going to make it happen tonight. They did. They absolutely did. And in the 8th inning, when we speak about money bags and the high paid top of the order, we'll leave Nimmo out of that. 4 strikeouts for him. He had a tough night finding Nimmo. But, in the bottom of the 8th, the stage is set. Here comes Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. Francisco Lindor singles, Juan Soto singles, the polar bear. Gotta love him. Paid Pete singles on a line drive to left fielder Steven Kwan, and Francisco Lindor scores Juan Soto to second. That brought the Mets within one. Jeff McNeil singles on a line drive to Nolan Jones, Juan Soto to third, Pete Alonso to second, Mark Vientos with the sac fly to tie the game. So we got a new ball game here, folks. We got a new ball game here, folks. And like I said, without Emmanuel Clase, these guys got to go to Hunter Gaddis. Everybody in the world knows Hunter Gaddis for one thing, right? Hunter Gaddis gave up the home run to Juan Soto in last year's ALCS. But then you get Cade Smith's rendition of God Bless America. Cade Smith, he does what he's got to do. And I'm still confident at the time, thinking the Mets are going to come back and win this one. I still am sitting at home live tweeting the Mets game and just kind of half watching the Yankees game as the Mets game is coming to an end. But here's the talking points with the Mets fans and with this Mets game. Brett Beatty, when you get to actually, before we get to Brett Beatty, when you get to the ninth inning, Francisco Alvarez singles on a ground ball to center fielder Daniel Schneemann, and they take him out of the game and they put in a pinch runner. They put in, you better call Tyrone. What a great time to call on Tyrone Taylor, the speedster. So after Brandon Nimmo strikes out for the last time, Francisco Lindor doubles. Citi Field is rocking. Citi Field's got what? Almost 38,000, 37,886 crazy Met fans on a Monday looking to get right with a walk-off win. Yeah. It's lit. So you can feel it happening, right? You can feel it. The make it happen Mets, baby. Walk-off coming. Lindor doubles on a line drive to right field. Cade Smith intentionally walks the generational Juan Soto. Just add another walk to the league leader. Pete strikes out. And Jeff McNeil lines out to shortstop Gabriel Arias. But I kept looking at the replay and, I kept going back to, what was going on. And, yeah, the more that you watch that inning, you got to go back. Lindor's double, right? When I'm looking at this video, Tyrone Taylor is at third base and he's motoring. He's got to put the brakes on so much. He takes like 3 or 4 steps just to stop himself. Third base coach got to send him in your building with the place packed, in your building, not trying to lose back to back, in your building, not trying to lose 6 out of 7, in your building, which would have been the biggest comeback of the season, in your building, where I get it, it wasn't the last out. It would have been the second out, but I get it. A lot of people online were talking about, oh, you've got Juan Soto coming up. You've got Pete Alonso coming up. Nah, you got to go for it and end the game. You got to put pressure on the defense. You got to put pressure on Carlos Santana, the cutoff man, who catches that ball and drops it. And Carlos Santana, you can look it up, isn't known for his arm. He doesn't have the strongest arm. So, of course, Mendoza in the postgame defends it, and he says it was 100% the right call. It was 100% the right play. And, 100% of the time. It shouldn't be 100%. If you're going to say that, 100% means like a 100% chance that would have been an out. It wasn't going to necessarily be an out. I think Tyrone Taylor scores. They would have had to make a perfect throw. They would have had to make a perfect tag. It would have been bang, bang. It could have went to review. I would trust the fastest guy on the team, head first slide, to go in there, walk that place off, electric finish in front of your fans, first game of that series to really get everybody in the right spirits. And no, they played it safe. They played it safe. Mike Sarbaugh held him up. And I guess, yeah, he's got to go off of what he sees, timing with the ball. But you can go back and look. Even SNY, their production was ready for the play at the plate. They had the double shot. They had the screen split where you could see the action in right field, and you could see the runner coming around third. And yeah, the game wasn't lost there, but those are the big talking points until you get to Brett Beatty. Brett Beatty, obviously, on the bunt. They laid a bunt down. Brett Beatty fields it, and I don't know. He just comes up too hot, fires it past Lindor. Lindor can't get to it, and that's a tough play. He was looking like a New York Yankee. Yup, throwing error by third baseman Brett Beatty, and the Guardians go up 6-5. And that's tough. Tough for Ryan Helsley, tough for the bullpen, tough for the conversation that surrounds the Mets. And the conversation is this. This is a World Series team with World Series aspirations. Nothing less, nothing short. This is a team that's expected to win a championship. This is a team in New York City where if you're not feeling so hot about the New York Yankees and we're about to get there, if you're one of those fans that say, I root for New York, well, you'll be rooting for the Mets in October. But losing that game, they are now a game and a half back behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who have added Harrison Bader to this lineup. He hit a homer in his first Phillies hit tonight, leaves the ballpark. He looks like he's back to his St. Louis Cardinals form in that red and white uniform. And yeah, Kyle Schwarber is a bad man as well. And the Phillies abuse the Orioles. They've got this home series with the Orioles where they'll probably sweep them. Who knows? The conversation around the Mets is that all the money that was spent on this offense, it's not good enough. As much as some folks want to protect Juan Soto, a walk is not as good as a hit. There are too many numbers out there that show that Juan Soto has not been clutch, that Juan Soto has not been himself, that Juan Soto is not giving you the return on investment that you expected, that you hoped for. The great Frank the Tank says the Mets are always teasing, never pleasing. And I feel like that game tonight was a tease, and this season has been a tease. The Mets should be a lot better. The Mets should have more wins. The Mets should get better production out of the top of the order. All of that money that they pay to Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, I'll leave out of it. Pete Alonso is about to make history. Pete Alonso has broken out of it recently. But the rest of these guys, they're one of the worst teams with runners in scoring position. They had other opportunities tonight. It didn't just come down to, not sending Tyrone Taylor. It didn't just come down to Brett Beatty making a terrible throw. In this game, the Mets were 4 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They left 10 on base. So it's going to come back around to that. Obviously, they're not getting enough production out of their big money bats and hitters. This lineup was supposed to be one of the best lineups in baseball, and the rotation isn't good enough. You're not fooling anybody. And now the deadline has passed. They got you 3 rentals, but 2 rental arms in Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers. You saw him tonight scraping his knuckles across the mound, the sidewinder, the submariner. That's cool and all. But when you think about what you gave up for guys that are here for August, September, and whatever you do in October, it's because you're expected to get to the World Series and be champions and win and bring a parade back to the city and end the drought before we hit 40 years. And with this rotation, it's not happening. Sean Manaea is expected to be an ace. Sean Manaea is a guy that he's got to figure it out fast. Yeah, he's got some time, but he's going to be relied upon. Like, he's definitely getting a start in October. You didn't go get a starter at the deadline. We know the prices were high. A lot of these guys didn't move. But it seems like the struggles of Frankie Montas, you paid him, right? Scott Boras finesse. I mean, Scott Boras, you think he's your friend. He's not your friend. You think Scott Boras is your friend, Mets fans. He's not your friend. But Kodai Senga, not good enough. David Peterson can give you some length, but also, and then Clay Holmes. Like, what is the move? Are you going to see Brandon Sproat or Noah McLean? I don't know. David Stern's got to have some answers. Steve Cohen got to have some answers. I thought when I saw the alert today, we had an answer. I'm like, oh, wait, they're bringing up one of the kids. Welcome Dom Hamill from AAA Syracuse, the Mets' third-round pick in the 2021 MLB draft. 888-808-1019. The Mets lose back-to-back games. They lose 6 out of their last 7. They lose a little bit of ground in the NL East. And, you know, the real test of who's big brother and who's little brother is big brother's losing, and that's all everybody wants to talk about. Little brother's losing, and no one cares. Big brother, the New York Yankees, are the talk of not just New York, but baseball. Everybody is now asking, is it panic time? Everybody's now asking about Boone and the clubhouse. Everybody is asking for former players to come out and tell us what goes on in Aaron Boone's clubhouse, what goes on behind the scenes. After a weekend where Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez on a nationally televised NASCAR game, they've got plenty of airtime with the rain in Tennessee. They're telling everybody about accountability. And, oh, if we were there, this would have never flown back when we were Yankees. And, oh, they got to clean it up and all that stuff, right? You got Ben Rice coming out and saying, yeah, I think a little urgency would be good for us. Now, in the dog days of August, now, after being swept by the Marlins, I mean, what else do you need to see? Saturday, before I drove out to see the Patriots play, the Somerset Patriots, the last play that I saw that I could stand to watch was Jazz Chisholm getting doubled up at first base on a pop-out to shallow right to the second base. Like, they create some of the dumbest things I have ever seen on a baseball field. And then to double down on it. To double down on it and say you would do it again. The audacity. And then Jazz is on his Instagram talking about, oh, you know, his power to not care what people say has gone up. Then why are you posting about it? Because you're allowed to just say whatever and do whatever out there. These guys, this is what they do. This is who they are. I've told you they're soft. I told you there's no accountability. I told you it's a laissez-faire, a clubhouse. I told you these are the participation trophy era New York Yankees. And now they're in a bad one. Now it's loud. When you go and you get swept by the Miami Marlins, yeah, even the Miami Marlins have closed the gap on you. They don't fear you. They never have that many people in their ballpark. They're turned up to beat you. And I was on Saturday, and you know what I said? Hey, baseball is crazy. You can't predict baseball. That's baseball, Susan. Not Susan's brand of baseball, but that's baseball, Susan, right? All of your new toys, you rip them out of the plastic. You can't wait to use them, and they suck. And sometimes you need to realize when you get some new tools and they don't work the same as your old toolbox, you got to go back to the old toolbox. But we'll get to that as we get to the end of the game that just happened. The Yankees let the hangover from Friday put them down Saturday. You ever have a hangover so bad on Friday night, you can't do anything Saturday night. You might be in better shape come Sunday, and they weren't even in better shape Sunday for Luis Gil's return. Agustin Ramirez, as I was in Somerset with the Patriots and talking to the good folks out there, first-class organization, appreciate the love. You know, they were talking about how Agustin Ramirez, the catcher, not that long ago, he was in Somerset catching Cam Schlittler. He won the game himself on Saturday. He's like, I know this guy. I know what this guy throws. I'm waiting for that high-velocity fastball. I'm sending it, or whatever you send over the plate. I'm going to win this game myself. This is going to be a revenge game. We're going to wear our City Connect uniforms because the Yankees are in town. The Yankees got a $300 million payroll. The Marlins starting 9 doesn't make what Juan Soto makes in a year. 888-808-1019. The first time ever that the Yankees were swept by the Marlins, and guess whose resume that goes on? Aaron Boone's. On top of the World Series loss to the Marlins. As a manager, no other Yankee manager can say they were swept by the Marlins. And you know what I'm going to tell you? The same thing I've been telling you. You can call the radio station and say Boone's got to go and Boone's got to get fired. He's not getting fired. They can get swept by Texas. Oh, and don't look now. As I was just talking to Ricky Ricardo, don't look now, folks. Judge is coming back, but tomorrow Nate Eovaldi is on the mound, and I don't know. It already is tomorrow, but you've got Nate Eovaldi, the pitcher of the month, going up against young Will Warren. What version of Will Warren are we get? What version are we going to get of the Yankees with Judge back? And that's another thing. Those of you calling out Judge as captain, it's so dumb to hear people talk about, well, what Judge has to do everything. Judge has to go for the Triple Crown, be the MVP, be the face of the franchise, go to the All-Star game, stay for the swing off, do the home run derby, and now he's got to rip every player on the team. It wasn't enough for Boone to take Jazz into the dugout behind closed doors. It wasn't enough for us to see him obviously having words with the first base coach. It's not enough. We got to say, oh, it's on Judge. Judge is not like that, bro. Judge is not, and I think he obviously leads by example, but he's not a yell rah-rah guy. And you know where he was this weekend while people were talking, well, Judge has got to do something about it. He was at the facility in Tampa trying to get right so he could resume play, so he could come back and help the team. But now you got an issue because Judge comes back as a DH only. What are you doing with Giancarlo Stanton? 888-808-1019. What are you about to sit Stanton down? I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but Stanton has gotten to that place. Yeah, Stanton's gotten to that place at the plate where you don't want to cool him down. Stanton's gotten to that place at the plate where you don't want to sit that man down. In his last 15 games, he's hitting about 300. His OPS, I'll get to the OPS. Let me just talk about his homers. 6 homers, and you've seen them, and they've been clutch, and we've been wasting them. His homers have been wasted over the course of these last few games. I don't think you can really be in a situation. His OPS is 875, but like his OPS over the last 15 games is over 1,000 or close to 1,000. He's got, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter about his, because you know what? They got to do what they got to do. Into the game tonight. Austin Slater, grand opening, grand closing for the guy. Like the guy, some of you guys didn't even want him here. Some of you guys said he should have been out there for Caballero on Friday night in right field, whatever. Austin Slater joins the team because he mashes lefties. He hits well against lefties. And that was clearly what they were going for tonight with Pat Corbin on the mound, right? Stack the deck, but also shake up the lineup. You change the lineup every day. What's the worst that can happen? Like maybe you get some results. Maybe tonight, going out there against Pat Corbin and you lead off Goldie. I know my first thought was like, Goldie's been in a bad one. I would never lead Goldie off right now, but he's got good numbers against Corbin. And we start the game off with a leadoff homer. We start the game off back-to-back games with a leadoff homer on the road. But these guys are miserable on the road. I think I just saw they're 5-18 on the road in a certain stretch. There's so many numbers, guys. There's so many numbers to tell you that they showed on ESPN the other day that the Yankees are the second worst team in the American League since June 13th. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. We don't have to lie to ourselves anymore. We don't have to pretend anymore. And going into this game tonight, a game that they should have won. They should have won this game. Max Fried on the mound. You're expecting maximum effort. You're expecting just Max Fried to be Max Fried and these guys to respond no matter who's in the lineup. Ahmed Rosario with a knock and a milestone. But Max Fried tonight, if Max Fried doesn't have it, pack it up. Max Fried didn't have it. And he gutted it out for 5 innings, not having his best stuff. 8 hits, 4 runs, 7 strikeouts, 3 walks. But man, in that 4th inning, or in that 2nd inning, where he gives up 4. It's like, yo, we need a shutdown inning, man. We need to lock in here. We need this to like this is just they're finding a way. They're finding a way. They're finding a way to lose games. They're finding a way to not get it done. If Max Fried doesn't have it, you just don't feel great about that. But they battle back. They find a way to battle back, and it just comes down to what, right? You just can't have nice things. You cannot have nice things. After that 4th inning, where they go up again, the bullpen does what it's supposed to do after Fried comes out of the game. The bullpen tonight, they go Weaver, they go Doval, they go Bednar, and we're cruising. We are cruising. They're getting the outs that they need. And now you get to see your new toys again in their second outing. Like, oh, these guys are good. And not for nothing, I was listening to the post game with Jack Curry talk about how, Bednar and Doval led the league in saves in the National League and how these guys are closers and have closer experience. But it's funny, right? You go back to Friday and even Thursday where Boone was asked about, acquiring these guys. And he says Devin Williams is his closer. He doesn't go to him on Friday. That blows up, right? Fool me, can't fool me again. That was fool me with Jake Bird, fool me with David Bednar. No, let's keep going. Let's stick to our plan of resting guys and go with Doval so he can blow it. 3 of a kind, 3rd time's a charm. Devin Williams, stick to your rest day. But yeah, tonight, I feel like a lot of people are on Twitter and just felt like this too. Oh, Devin Williams definitely going to blow this game. But against Jock Peterson, bro, are we serious? Like, you're supposed to be elite. You're supposed to be dominant. You are MLB Network's #1 reliever coming into the year. The Yankees made this trade to acquire you. You lost the job. You got the job back. And you're going up against the guy who's having the worst year of his career. I mean, Jock Peterson is dumpster juice. You're talking about OPS. Like, we're talking about where he's at. His OPS is over 500 now. It wasn't. He's got a 132 average. Like, Jock Peterson, if you can't get Jock Peterson out, walk him. I'd rather you walk him, hit him with a pitch. You cannot let him tie the game. Devin Williams is not my closer. Devin Williams should not be granted the job security that everybody else on the Yankees has. That's what it is. It's all job security. Wells is another one. Wells has been garbage. Wells has been trash. At bats, on the base paths, stupid things, defensively, but he's good. He's good because you don't have anybody else. You got Ben Rice, and Ben Rice got 2 other positions he plays, and I don't know, man. Devin Williams, all he's done this year is blow leads, blow saves, give up homers. And even like the little good stretches he has, they're still nerve-wracking. They're still full of anxiety. He's not a guy you can trust. And now that you do have not just 2 other options, you have Luke Weaver too. Like, you can't tell me that he's the closer. You just can't. You can't just say, yeah, this is my closer no matter what. That home run, I was driving in. I had a bad feeling about it too, because like sometimes you just don't want to. You want to just kind of watch the game and not make a move. But I had to get here, and I'm like, all right, Devin Williams got it. I'm listening to that, and I could hear Dave and Susan call it, and I'm like, they're gonna lose this game. They're 0-6 in extras. They're 0-6 in extras on the road. There's so many numbers that tell you that this is not a good team. There's so many numbers that tell you that this team isn't going anywhere. There's so many numbers that tell you you are what you are. You are what your record says you are. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I don't see them just magically fixing this because it starts at the top. What happens when they tell you all these different things? Like, let me see. Here's Max Goodman's tweet. The Yankees had a 7-game lead in the American League East on May 28th. There were 15 games above 500. Since then, the Yankees are 25-33. After tonight's loss, they're 4th in a row since the trade deadline. New York is 5.5 games back of the Blue Jays in 3rd place in the AL. They're not good, and they found a lot of ways to blow games and lose. Even when they give you the highs of highs, home runs, double-digit scoring, comeback wins, being no hit by Brian Wu, being no hit by Dylan Cease and coming back. What we're learning now, or understanding now that we get to August and it's not, you can't tell us, oh, it's only June or it's only July. That is more fluky. Those wins that the Yankees have are more fluky, baseball-y type wins. This is who they are. This is more predictable. This is what they've shown. So I always tell you guys not to get off the roller coaster or when to get off the ride. If you guys want to get off the ride, I understand. I'm not getting off the ride before Judge comes back and we see what that turns into. Will Judge eventually be able to play right field? I also am not getting off the ride because of the strength of schedule. They have one of the easiest paths if they can sort this out and figure this out. And I'm also not getting off the ride because baseball is unpredictable. And maybe they need to not be just crowned as the Kings. Maybe they need to come home against the Astros. And they also face their other rivals, the Red Sox, later this month. And if they suck and they're not making plays and they're throwing the ball around and they're doing bonehead things, they hear it from the fans. I heard a call this weekend about, oh, maybe we need to go back to Yankee Stadium when Don Mattingly was hitting home runs and the place was empty. Never. Impossible. You don't know how this works? Those tickets are sold already. And you know what? There's 30,000 people in Yankee Stadium. They don't know their record. They don't know these numbers that I speak of. The Yankees need to fix this. I remember the last time I was saying the Yankees need to fix this, I was saying they needed to fix Volpe. Volpe now isn't the main topic of conversation. He isn't the whipping boy as much. But all in all, they're not a good team. And you can add some shiny new toys to this new team, and they still don't produce. So losing streak for the Yankees, losing streak on this road trip, another game that they had a lead, couldn't close it, couldn't figure it out. Devin Williams in the post game, soft-spoken, quiet as kept about what happened, and just these guys just going through the motions, doing stupid stuff, and then getting in the post game and telling you that they would have done it again. You got people like Clint Frazier speaking out about him, Lance Lynn. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. They should be much better than this. And that's where people want to fire Aaron Boone. He's not getting fired. But if on paper they have all of these all-stars and all of these talented players, and they just had this trade deadline where they added these arms and also these position players, how come the math isn't mathing? What's the common denominator through all these unachieving Yankees teams? It's the manager, but they're not changing the manager. They're not. They've made some changes, like I saw today, that they were doing infield practice, full infield practice pregame. Obviously, Caballero made his first start at third base, but they need to do it every day. It needs to be mandatory. They need to do it every day. Oh, they got rid of Marcus Stroman. Good. Marcus Stroman can go. Anybody that got that twisted with me, you're bugging out. Stroman was not competitive. But here comes Kenta Maeda. If you think that they're surviving, as I talk about the Mets rotation, if you think they're surviving with Max Fried the way he's looked, and Rodon, who is a roll of the dice, Will Warren, who's a whole rookie, Cam Schlittler, who is like a tenth of a rookie, and Luis Hill, who was rookie of the year last year, but it's going to take him a little while to get going. Man, it's going to be uphill, and nobody feels sorry for the New York Yankees. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. It's a quick one. It's a quick one tonight, and I'm glad. It's not fun. It's not fun talking about this stuff. It's not fun going through all the little things that just make up a losing operation. And even coming off the weekend, I had somebody tweet at me like, oh, here's this guy. I'm like on my Twitter talking about anything else. Oh, this guy is being quiet about the Yankees. I'll save it for my show. There's nothing to be loud about. I felt like we should have been louder about the Mets losing. I felt like the Yankees shielded the Mets and them losing to the Giants over the weekend. But misery loves company. It'll be loud for the both of us. For the expectation of these teams, one going to the championship series, one going to the World Series. Here we are in August, what they call the dog days of baseball, and we're not getting the return on investment. They are not playing up to the standards that they have set, the expectations that they have set on one side of town. Steve Cohen talking about winning multiple World Series. This is year 5 in that first World Series prediction you made. I know you got a new one now of winning 2 in 10 years. I don't see it with this rotation, and I don't see it with your big money guys not balling out the way they should. And the Yankees supposed to be hell-bent on being a champion, right? Aaron Boone saying how focused they are on winning. Aaron Boone's supposed to go on Talking Yanks Tuesday. Yeah, I canceled that one. I call out sick for that one. I would miss that one because with this losing streak and where the franchise is right now, I don't think it helps anything. Fans are out. Fans are done. Fans are pissed off. They want Cashman gone. Right after Cashman had a masterful deadline, they want Aaron Boone gone, and Boone is not going anywhere. He just signed an extension for getting them to the World Series. And even though they failed in that World Series, in part due to a few of his decisions, it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. The old days are gone. I told one of my homies, I said, bro, when I was a kid, I fell in love with the Yankees. I fell in love with the story of the franchise and those winning teams and the culture that they had. As an adult, I fell in love with the ballpark, the stadium, the Bronx, the fans, the culture of going to games. So I'm going to keep enjoying that. I'm going to keep going to Yankee games the rest of the season. But I'm not going there thinking that this is the season they win the World Series. I told you in the beginning of the year when Cole went down, they're not winning the World Series. And I told you with the Mets, they could buy whoever they want. They can add Juan Soto to this team. That doesn't make them World Series contenders because they got to overcome their own uniform. Juan Soto's got to overcome being a Met. 888-808-1019. I got a break. I don't have that much time. Keith McPherson on the Fan. Call me up. I'll be right back. That was such a fire drill. Like me getting in here, I have a ton of notes and things prepared that we'll go through and I look through quickly. But I don't even have my camera set up, my microphone set up because I don't know, man. Just didn't get a little bit of a buffer between the Yankees post game and the start to my show, but it's a quick show, so whatever, I'm not tripping off of it. Quick stream, and these aren't fun. I can't wait for football. I can't wait for football because then we can, if they want to just do all this, whatever. Once we have actual preseason games coming soon, webcam, I'm about to switch. Once we have actual preseason games to go off of and not practice, yeah, we do a lot of talking about practice. Once we have actual preseason games to go off of, and then once week 1 comes, which I think we're 4 weeks away or something like that from week 1 of the NFL, they're gonna both take a back seat, and yeah, we'll get all hyped up. We'll get all fired up for the postseason, and we'll put on the hopeful face and sound of anything can happen. But then we know what's gonna happen, bro. You've seen these teams, we know what's gonna happen. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. They're going to have to magically just become good. There are better teams in baseball. There are teams that added starting pitchers, relievers, position players. It is not just it's not just as simple as because they're New York, they're going to go back to where they were last year. I think neither one make it back to where they were last year. If you ask me my opinion, which you do because I host the show, and I talk to people online all day, I would love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong because it's so much better. It's so much better to have New York in the postseason for Major League Baseball, period. But these teams are not it. Jeter told these heads over the weekend, you're not going to beat the teams making that many mistakes and errors. You're not. Jeter, was saying on the broadcast, and even with the Mets, you're not going to beat teams leaving runners in scoring position and also having starters that get rocked. Like they get out of the games too early. They're not like, who is the most dominant guy for the Mets rotation? David Peterson? I'm switching cameras. Let me get a little bit closer here. All right. Let me set this here, lock this, making the switch in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. A little further out. Sorry, I had you right up under me. Yeah, way too comfortable, yo. What happened to the screen? Okay, that's set up now. Let me make sure my mic is set up for the calls. All right. Got the Billy shirt. See what I'm saying? Like, I'm about the culture. I'm about the vibes, bros. We'll talk about it. All right. Let's take a call or two before we get to the 1 o'clock break-in update. Keith McPherson on the fan. Like I said, this is a quick one. I got in here quick. I'll get out of here quickly. It's not fun to lose. It's not fun to have this many games under our belts to look at these teams and be like, yeah, could be a lot better. Should be a lot better. We deserve a lot better. Let's go to Dave in Rockland County on the fan. What's up, Dave?
The Yankees, they got 2 closers who are better than Devin Williams by the trade deadline. Why can't Boone use them in their normal capacity as closers? Why do you have to put in Devin Williams as a higher ERA than both of them?
They're going off of lanes. Like if we go back to these guys being inactive because they were on the trading block, they had the bright idea to throw them into the fire on Friday and get them all some work. And then I don't know. I think it really just this is what the Yankees do. Like the Yankees play players out of position. So they're gonna go out and trade for closers, and they're gonna say these guys aren't our closer. But I don't think it'll be long, man. Devin Williams has had plenty of opportunity to show us that he can't get it done for the Yankees. He used to be a dominant closer. He's shown some dominance at times, but overall, the Devin Williams experience has been whack. Thanks for the call, Dave. This is not good enough. It's Clay Holmes 2.0. It's Clay Holmes all over again. And as much as we dog Clay, it's tough to be the Yankees closer. Let's see if Bednar or Doval can get it done. And I honestly think that, when you talk about Brian Cashman, and last week when we were talking about Cashman, I said, think about all the problems that the Yankees had, and obviously due to Cashman's roster construction, but think about all the problems he potentially solved. One of those problems is Devin Williams. One of those problems is you don't really have a closer in Devin Williams. He lost a job once. He's not a lock to stay there. I just honestly think as many games as he's blown, home runs as he's given up, leads that he's lost, they'd be fools to stay locked into Devin Williams. We're not in October yet. I remember I was good on Devin Williams so early because I'm like, I don't see this actually materializing to okay, he started calling all his own games, his own pitches. It worked out for a little bit. But I bet you he's feeling it now. They asked him about Doval on Thursday after the game. He's like, yeah, he throws 100 miles an hour. What else is there to see? He knows these other guys can close games in the National League. They close games this year. His job's not safe. Andrew's in Queens before we go to break. What's up, Andrew?
Hey, how's it going, Keith?
I guess it's been better.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm old school, man. I'm an old man. I haven't been to a game in a few years, man. I'm totally cool with that. I'm so disgusted with them. I'm a fan, man, from back in the day, but just the way they run everything. They don't go the distance when it comes to getting players. They got a few players this time, but they don't do anything to put them over the top. Boone, he just carries their water. They pay him, and it's a turnoff listening to him speak. I'm not saying he's a bad guy because everything I just feel is so scripted. The players play him because they're too comfortable. And what really galls me is he comes out, Boone, all big and bad. He calls out the umpires, he calls out his coach, but the players are so protective. Getting what he's deserved, and this is what it is. Thanks, Keith, man. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for the call, Andrew, and don't expect it to change. This is the modern-day Yankees, which I have called the participation trophy era Yankees, where they get coddled, they get patted on the back, and they get protected in the media, and they get protected in the public eye on camera. Like, I don't know. I knew you weren't going to bench Jazz because he had been in a terrible slump. I knew you weren't going to bench Jazz because you needed his bat in the lineup. I knew you weren't going to bench Jazz in his return to Miami. I knew you weren't going to bench Jazz to set an example, but benching a player after doing some dumb-ass stuff like that would send a message enough already to everybody else. Yes, I'll pull Jazz out in his homecoming because that doesn't need to happen. And then the way that they kind of got their stories together, and then in the postgame, I'm like, enough already, bro. Fool me, can't fool me again. Tinkle on my head and tell me it's raining. I know it's not raining. Keith McPherson on the Fan. We'll do the big shot of the night when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Fan.
Mauricio, mornings on the Fan, 101.9 FM.
Yeah, it really comes down to Aaron Judge coming back and being the dominant force that he is. So that's what Brian Cashman is banking on.
Listen to Mauricio on demand on Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
I've been trying to have a Fan logo in there, not S and Y. There we go. Yo, what up, bro?
What's up, son?
How you feeling?
Yeah, bro. How's everything?
All right. Again, Yankees find another way to lose, blow the game.
I mean, it's like a fucking script at this point.
Yeah, it's just like you're not even shocked. It's like this is who they are. And then the Mets, it's like you can't lose that game to the Guardians. And it's like they lost it in multiple ways. Mania imploding in the sixth. Then they do come back and rally, and it's like they hold Tyrone Taylor. I'm like pretty sure he would have scored. And then Brett Beatty, I don't know what he was doing, fired that shit to Lindor at second. And it's like you got to be more cautious with the game on the line, bro. Like
With my shit, bro, I'm like cooking the crack spoon for fucking preseason football this week.
Oh yeah, you're lucky though. See, because like you get to
Anthony Richardson.
yeah, I'm so ready to get into the football conversations because it's there. Like inside training camp has been good.
Yeah.
Like even I saw like Tyler Huntley got signed by the Browns. Like just talk about the Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
Is you could talk about them for half an hour.
Shoulder, Dylan Gabriel's got hamstring tightness.
Kenny Pickett is out
for training camp.
And Joe Flacco is one snap away from his career being done. So there's a lot of good storylines. Yeah, and he's around trying to come back, but
I don't think he ever plays another snap for them.
no, I don't think they want
him after this year and just eat.
they burn so much money out with him. There's so many storylines that are going to pop up too once we get into these preseason games. Once Hard Knock starts,
Yeah,
once like tonight, later tonight. Now it's Tuesday, the 5th. And like I know around here, like people are just going to start to shift to football. and we're gonna have things to talk about where it's like, are we really gonna be tripping over like if Devin Williams blows a game in 2 weeks, and then like how big of a story is it gonna be when like Bednar becomes the closer or whatever? It's just I don't know.
They this year feels more exaggerated than most, but they usually find a way to pull their heads out of their asses by.
If you look at their schedule, they're like in theory, like they have enough talent to get to the postseason. The division is starting to slip away, but maybe they need to be a wild card and get out. But it's like, I don't know. It's going to take a lot for them. They got to be damn near perfect now with the amount of errors and mistakes, and like even your best pitcher Max Fried goes out there tonight and he struggles. It's like it's hard for anybody to believe. Like
on Corbin, you leave the bases loaded the first 2 innings.
Oh, that's another thing. It should have been 6-0 early. So, all right, man. Good seeing you. Yo, Q Big shot up. I'm just gonna give it to Kyle Schwarber. Probably heard me.
Sponsored by Primo Brands, the official water sponsor of MLB. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. Also brought to you by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Brutal loss is becoming commonplace, it seems. Devin Williams blew the save in the ninth on a Jock Peterson solo shot, with Jake Bird serving up the game-winning 3-run blast to Josh Young in the 10th. Rangers stun the Yankees 8-5. Four straight losses, going 4 for 6 with Aaron Judge away. Expected to return off the IL and DH in time for tonight's game in Texas. Mets raced a 5-run deficit, but unable to finish off the comeback, falling to the Guardians 7-6-10. Pete Alonso, 4 hits, including a 3-run shot. He knocked in 4 in all. Did strike out with the bases loaded, though, in a tie game in the ninth. Sean Manaea cruised through 5 scoreless innings, a 2-hit ball, and then Cleveland put up 5 runs on 5 hits in the 6th. Another struggle with runners in scoring position. 4 for 15. They left 10 men on. Phillies won, so the Mets now gave it a half back. 75 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
The big shot of the night is brought to you by WFAN and me, Keith McPherson. Bright lights, big city. We got to go down to Philly to find tonight's big shot. I hate to do it, but nobody deserves it from the New York teams. This guy deserves respect, though. Talk about a prove it year. This guy is going to get paid after this year, after he won the All-Star game with the swing off and, hitting 3 out there. This guy has not slowed down. It's Kyle Schwarber. He had a 2-run bomb early and then a grand slam, a 2-homer night to get to 40 on the season. He's on pace for 58 homers, 136 ribbies, 114 runs. That would tie the Phillies single season franchise record. for home runs. And yeah, like I said, this guy's going to go get the bag. Kyle Schwarber is a monster. He can't be stopped. I saw him bruise up the Yankees a bit. And yeah, since the All-Star game, he's on a tear. He's second in homers. He's trying to catch Kyle Raleigh. And he's helping power the Phillies. You know, he should have stayed in Chicago. The Cubs another team that's going to look at, you know, some guys that they've let go, but they should be all right. Anyway, 888-808-1019. My last hour on the Fan, really my last 50 minutes. And it's cool. I'm not really in the mood to act like everything is okay. I'm not in the mood to act like everything is all good. Like I told you, there are numbers, right? You know, I'm like, damn, when it's in ESPN, you know it's bad. Yankees road woes. They are 5-18 on the road since June 13th. That's the worst in the league. You can't run from that. You can't hide from that. They've been swept 3 times. That's tied for the worst. Don't get swept in Texas. Their ERA is a 5.74. That probably went up tonight. Second worst. The errors, it's got 20 from the weekend. That also went up tonight. Like they just add on. They just add on to what they do. It is incredible in the wrong way. This is a World Series team that'll tell you they made it to the World Series last year, and I don't want to hear it. No one wants to hear it anymore. You went to the World Series last year. That's last year is way over. I'm like, I'm going to the box score. I'm like, did they not give Fried? They did. I'm like, didn't Fried have an error tonight? Yeah, on the pickoff attempt. And I'm just like, oh, bro, he's unraveling. He went from being so sharp, such a ace on the mound, defending his position and having everything working. And I don't know if it's the blister. I don't know what it is. Fried has not been the same guy. And if they don't have him, then pack it up. If he's not dominant, you know, the pitch breakdown tonight, he threw 28 cutters. They went 2 for 7 with a double, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. They had 22 sinkers, 1 for 4, 18 curveballs, 0 for 2 with a strikeout, 17 changeup, 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout, 10 4-seamers, 4 for 5 with a strikeout, 9 sweepers, 0 for 2, a slider, 1 slider, 0 for 0. That was his pitch breakdown. He threw 105 pitches, 64 of them for strikes. He just didn't have his command. He was missing his spots early. And, yeah, they got to him. And, I mean, speaking of early with the Yankees, they should have been able to get to Patrick Corbin, bro. Like, what? And I know they did a little bit, but it's super frustrating. It's like they're giving it to you. They're giving you opportunities, and you're not fully cashing in. You're not fully. He's walking guy like Patrick Corbin tonight got off the hook. Texas bailed him out. Yeah, Stanton walk. Slater gets hurt. Jazz walk. Volpe strikes out in that first inning. You guys saw the game. You guys know what happened. I always hate like going back to recap the game, especially as you just heard Emmanuel with the post game and you guys watched yourselves. I don't know what to say about these guys anymore. They're cooked, bro. They're cooked until further notice. I'm not getting off the ride, but I'm not going to tell you to not get off the ride. I'm still going to go to the stadium to see the Astros play the Yankees. It might get ugly. I'll be there. Like I said, I enjoy going to the stadium. I enjoy the vibe and the culture in the Bronx. Yankee fans are undefeated. We never lost. Yankee fans never left. The old Yankees left. The Yankee fans, we never left. You know, when they want to get right, when they want to act right, when they want to start playing better and playing a clean brand of baseball and acting like this is dead serious, yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there to support them. But it's going to get loud. If they lose this series, depending on how these next 2 games go, and like I said, Nate Eovaldi on the mound, former Yankee. Judge coming back in the lineup, so I guess you got to sit Stanton down. Yeah, it's going to get interesting to see how they navigate this, how Aaron Boone navigates this. These guys got to play almost perfect. And when you're playing like you got to play almost perfect, you press, and it leads to mistakes and errors and bad at-bats and overthinking. They need to get back to having fun. I had hoped that today's lineup shakeup and the immediate return on that lineup shakeup would lead to some fun. But, yeah, it's not fun when you end up giving it up. And it's also not fun when you end up in the 9th inning with your closer who just can't keep the ball in the ballpark at times, can't keep a lead, can't get like he just found a way to blow it. So, yeah, 888-808-1019. Football can't start soon enough. You know, I think I mentioned now we're close. We are less than a month away from the NFL season opener. I think there's 4 Sundays left to go until we get back to Red Zone. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm just ready to have something else to watch and something else to discuss. And if these guys want to fade into the rest of their season, the New York Yankees, which like they just always have these like saving graces. They always have these like things you can fall back on, right? Oh, but Keith, the schedule. You know what? Anybody can beat them. We can tell ourselves that they got the softest schedule in September. They're going to face the Twins and the Orioles and the White Sox. Okay. Before that, though, they've got to face the Houston Astros. They've got to face the Boston Red Sox. And then in September, they face the Astros again, the Blue Jays again, the Tigers. So, they are going to be fighting for their lives, I feel. And maybe that'll wake them up. Maybe that will be the urgency they need. And maybe if they've got to, kind of play like the Mets did, where it's like, hey, you need your best 2 months of the season here to survive, to get in. Like maybe that's what they need. They need to have the feeling of like, we're not guaranteed to go to October. We're not guaranteed to be in the postseason. We've got to fight for the wild card. And whether that be the last wild card spot or the second wild card spot or whatever, that urgency needs to hit like ASAP. And I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't think Aaron Boone, it's too far gone for Boone. I called him Cool Dad years ago. Like Cool Dad can't just all of a sudden come in and yell and scream and flip tables and make everybody tight. Like Cool Dad, chill. You're not even like that. You're not even like that. We're good. We're good. Everybody's good. Everybody's good. Everybody's got job security. Like the Jazz play, bro. That was the dumbest play. Like, and then to justify it is because you're gonna play. You're gonna play the rest of the series. You're gonna be out there. Volpe, they can trade for Caballero. Caballero will see right field and third base before they even think about giving Volpe a break. Volpe goes out there today, 0 for 4, strikeout. Wells is another one. Wells, I'm the catcher, right? We got rid of JC Escara. And Ben Rice, not really a catcher. I'm the catcher for this team. Trash. Wells been garbage lately. All right, who else? Judge is supposed to come back and change all this? I guess. I got nothing bad to say about Cody Bellinger. I feel bad for Cody Bellinger. His first year in Pinstripes, team should be better. He's done his thing. MVP. Stan, like I said, coming along just fine. Grisham, he got in the game late. I was laughing. Did you see Grisham early in the game? I tweeted this, like the first inning, between innings. They had, I don't know if they got the same girls that do the Dallas Cowboys cheerleading as the Rangers cheerleading. I doubt they're the same girls. The Cowboys cheerleaders are like world famous, but whatever. The girls that got cut from the auditions, they do the Texas Rangers. They got a dance crew like the Mets got a dance crew, but instead it's like girls in like tight jeans and cowboy boots, and they're dancing on the dugout. Trent Grisham is from Fort Worth, Texas. He was the only guy out of the dugout, turned around watching these girls dance on top of the dugout. I'm like, good for him. He's back home. He got a little bit of a rest tonight. Not mad at Grish. Grish did his thing in Miami. Paul Goldschmidt. I was just about to say, if you couldn't get right tonight against your old pal Patrick Corbin, and he did, homer, he had 3 hits tonight leading off. So, again, the Yankees waste so many guys' good efforts. And you can't tell me that guys have job security. Like Devin Williams is not the closer. You can't say that anymore. When you have other options, they got to do what works. They got to do what turns into wins. They got to figure out a way to break out of this and stop the bleeding. Robbie's in Lennox on the Fan next. What's up, Robbie?
Freed go past the 5th inning. You know what the problem is? Why do these guys labor and throw pitches?
He's getting long on him. He was the guy that like we thought was a candidate to throw a perfect game, a no-hitter. Like we were almost a lock for him to get to the 7th inning.
So here's the problem too. He doesn't get to the 7th inning. Now here's my problem. Okay, this is the problem. You use 4 pitches. Why can't Bednar come in and just close the 9th inning? He pitched the perfect 8th inning. It's a law of percentages, Keith. If I use 4 or 5 guys, one of them is going to stink. And again, why do I have to see an 80-mile-an-hour meatball from Devin Williams? Why do I want a guy who's closing a game with a meatball? And the other thing that drives me crazy is Austin Wells is stunk. Pinch hit from, and why isn't Austin Wells? And this is where I fault Aaron Boone. Why didn't you friggin' let Volpe try to get to second base? They're not going to throw through dummy Aaron Boone. Why did you wait till Volpe goes to second?
Yeah, they kind of fall asleep in the moment, and those little things happen, and then it passes us by, and you're intentionally walking Wyatt Langford to pitch to Josh Young, and he's homering, and they're celebrating at home plate, and that's another L for you, L4, into another ballpark and against another team in another series, another game you had a lead, an early lead, you blew it again. And it leaves us all thinking about every single move. What did I say after the deadline? Cashman did his job. Now it's on Aaron Boone and the players. Now Aaron Boone is under a microscope that is the largest microscope he's been under. And now all these new players are expected to perform, and it's like, I don't know. It's it might not come together. And that's okay to admit. You can root and you can be glass half full, but just use your eyes, man. They find ways to lose, and I don't think anybody feels sorry for them. They're getting everybody's best punch. You're walking into that building everywhere you go. This goes right back. I've said all this stuff all year. So this is nothing new for me, right? That they live off the back of Yankees Pass. People aren't showing up there to see Austin Wells. People aren't showing up there to see Caballero. People aren't showing up there to see Ahmed Rosario. Or I don't even include the new guys. People really, they're not even showing up to see Jazz. They're not showing up to see Goldie. Like, you guys live off the backs of the Yankees of old. The fandom that's been passed down. So city to city, everywhere you go, those ballparks are full of Yankee fans. And, like, you don't necessarily deserve it. You're bums. Look at your record since June 13th. Nobody's rolling out to go see the Rockies or the Reds or the White Sox like that. But here come the New York Yankees. And what they fail to realize is you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to cross your T's and dot your I's, because everybody that steps in the ring with you is trying to land that knockout punch. Did you see how the Marlins were playing? How fired up those kids were? Did you see how big each game was for them facing the New York Yankees? And the Yankees just go through the motions of, we're the Yankees, this too shall pass. I don't know what everybody's tweaking about. Yeah, they're so hard on us. Oh, the media, everything. No. You're not good enough. Play better. You guys get paid millions of dollars to go out there and go through the motions. Play better. Aaron Boone, I know you signed a contract extension. I know you were in the World Series last year, but you failed. You lost that World Series. Nobody's job should be safe here in New York. These New York Knicks fans mob the streets. These New York Knicks fans had viral videos of fathers and sons and mothers and daughters and family members, uncles and cousins, jumping up and down, hugging each other, tears of joy, beating the Celtics, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. And they fired that coach. Wasn't good enough. Makes you think. And the Knicks don't operate like anyone else. Leon Rose still hasn't pulled up, hasn't popped out. Ron is in Flatbush on the Fan. What's up, Ron?
Yes, sir. I hate hearing you like this, Keith. I want to hear freestyle. I need to get you pepped up.
You're right. I do need to get back to the bars. I'm gonna put out a beef track against the New York Yankees and their roller coaster they put me on. I'm gonna just make a 16 dissing the whole team.
Hey, man, I hate hearing you like this, man. I like the old school hip hop, but I'm new out with the Bismarcky. But anyway, I think, Boone, I think Cash is at the predicament where he's going to have to separate from him because he'd be insubordinate. Because I think it's going to happen at the end of the year. But after the game where they lost with the 14 runs, and then they lost again, he had grounds. He could have got rid of him right there, to be honest.
Against the Marlins? No.
No,
because when we went into that Marlins series,
it's gonna come to fruition. I think at the end of the year. But I think that to be crazy, the Yankees only need 25-25. They only need 24 wins to qualify because
I think they will. I mean, I think they'll still make the postseason, but I don't have any hope for them in the postseason outside of baseball being unpredictable, and maybe because they have so much talent, maybe they get hot at the right time. And I can't expect for them to win enough games from June 13th to now. But if they win enough games from October 1st to November 1st, they're champions.
I think 24 will be the number. But what I would one last point. What I would tell Boone is right now it's Mayday, ship sinking, and you got to go to your best players. And I think if you look up the stats with goal hitting one, at this point I would go with my best players. And it's a shame that 27 can't give us 2 days in the field because he really his bat is going to be really missed sitting down. And at this point, with 49 games left, really at the 25 game mark, you really, go to your best. But Boone needs to have a sense of urgency, and he really hasn't had that. And I would go with Gold, Bellinger, and I would have had 99-3 with 27-4 if he would have given me 2 games in right field. Then I have the 2 knuckleheads with 13 and 11, and then Gliss is in there. You're going to win with those 7 guys. And at this point, that lefty-righty stuff, you're playing them. You're not really pinch hitting for anybody except maybe Goldsmith. And it's a shame with Rice because with this game today, Boone didn't have the feel of, listen, let me do something that the computer ain't saying.
Not late. Ben Rice got to get in that game.
He said he got to hit in that game. You got to roll the dice with that. I honestly believe Rice would have probably did something positive right there and would have won the game. And it's a shame Boone didn't have that. But, yo, get your head up, man. I'm out.
Thanks for the call, Ron. I mean, a few things. My head is up. Football is closer than ever. We're about to get to these preseason games. And I'm not going to hold you. Like, when the NFL starts, I care about the whole league. I don't care about the entire major leagues of baseball. I care about Yankee baseball, and I'm going to call a spade a spade. I'm not getting the vibe around these guys that they're going to go and do what you expect them to do. Same thing with the Mets. I don't like the bar for the Mets is World Series champions, but realistically, it's to get back to the NLCS. I don't see it. For the Yankees, it's to get back to the World Series and somehow win it. I don't see them doing that. I just don't. Not with this manager, not with this group of guys, not with this vibe around them, not with how they've played. When people show you who they are, believe them. Stop trying to make them something they're not. And like I said, I'm not even believing in them. I'm believing in baseball being unpredictable and them having time. I'm still believing like what's on paper, but what's on paper can be screwed up every time by the manager, by Aaron Boone, or by the collective, the decisions that they make before the game, thinking that a script that they write out, they can't go off script during the game. So let's go back to what you said about Boone. Boone is not getting fired. They weren't going to fire Boone after losing the second game of the Marlins series. Going in, like if they would have won, they would have been 2.5 back of Toronto and, a half game up of Boston. All of that changed when you lose 3 in a row, right? If you win that first game, and let's think about that. They were up 6-0. They were up 9-4. They were up 12-10. They should have won that game. And you have to have an urgency to say, okay, I'm not going to let us blow another lead. But who knows? I guess Devin Williams could have blown that too. And then when you talk about Stanton and Stanton's bat, they're going to have to take Stanton's bat out of the lineup. Judge is the better hitter and the better player, and he's Judge. He's the captain of the team, the face of the franchise. Like I said, I thought it was stupid that people were calling out Judge's like leadership as captain when he's not there. I think he might have did some work on Friday at Globe Life, but then I think he was not even. He went from Miami to Tampa. So maybe it was Friday in Miami that he might have done some work on the field, if I can remember correctly. But I think by Saturday we were hearing that he was in Tampa at the facility facing live BP. And I don't expect one guy. I don't know. I don't expect Judge specifically, one guy to just rally the troops. He's not that type. He's not. And I can't fault the guy who has carried this team. I can't fault the guy who has been clutch for this team, has done so much for this team. I've watched this guy dive around in right field. I've watched this guy hit home runs, clutch home runs, drive-in runs, affect lineups, affect how they pitch him on intentional walks. Now we're calling on this guy to step up and do more. Now the rest of them do more. They get paid too. But yeah, he comes back. Stan's got to come out. It is what it is. And they'll figure something out. It's not the worst thing in the world to have two prolific home run hitters as your DH. And what we hope is that Judge works back and can go to right field. Look at that. Austin Slater down. Just like that. Pulled the hammy. Running to first on the IL. You know, we always say these things will figure themselves out. They do. Who's going down when Judge comes out? Austin Slater on the IL. Judge in. But now with your outfield, you play a dangerous game there. Judge can't play in the outfield. Stanton, I'm not putting in the outfield. You know, as Ron was like, I wish he could give us I don't wish for him to give us any innings. The only way I'd consider it is in Yankee Stadium, if need be. And that would be if one of, and follow me now, it's probably not going to happen, Belly, Grish, or Dominguez go down. I'm sorry to speak that, you know, even into this microphone, I fingers crossed, knock on wood, all of that doesn't happen. But you also have Ahmed Rosario and Jose Caballero that can play in the outfield. I don't need to put Stanton out there. Not the way he's hitting, not the way he's going. I'm not playing that game. I'm not. For what? For what? Then you lose it. No. He's your most clutch hitter. He can hit a home run when you need it. You just find a way to consistently waste it. Kelvin is in Rahway, New Jersey on the Fan. What's up, Kelvin?
Hey, what's going on, partner? I'm in the car. Hey, man, I've been listening to you for a while, and I appreciate your commentary. But my whole thing is that I feel that Boone doesn't know how to coach a pitching staff. For years now, since Boone been a manager, he's basically, you get to 5 innings, then you want to use 5 pitchers. You got a guy that comes in, throws 2 innings, he's lights out, then he wants to switch him.
Yeah, but
by the time we get to the playoffs, now the bullpen is on. Everybody's arm in the bullpen is shot. Now we ain't got nobody. You got the starters can't go no more than 5. It does it every year.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kevin. Today's not the day for that, Kelvin. The bullpen did its job until the closer couldn't do his job. He gave up a solo shot. That's the one thing you couldn't do. Give up a single, give up a double, give up a triple, walk him, hit him by a pitch. The one thing you can't do is let Dumpster Juice Jock hit a home run to tie the game. Don't leave that ball there. Don't leave that ball there. So today I can't be mad at Boone's management of the pitching staff and the rotation. I mean, I thought Fried might only be able to get through 4 with his pitch count getting up. And then I'm reminded, I'm like, oh, he just threw his season high, career high, 111 pitches. He's definitely coming back out, and he was able to get through that 5th inning. But I can't be mad at Boone today for that. Fried didn't have it. Fried's got to be better. Let's start there. Max Fried, an all-star. Max Fried, the highest paid lefty pitcher in the history. You know what I'm saying? Like, Fried has not been the same guy. And as much as we love the addition of Max Fried and kind of fell in love with the idea of, okay, Cole is down, but we've got another ace, he hasn't been ace-like in his last few starts, his last 7 starts. He's got a 4.74 ERA in 38 innings pitched, 37 hits, 20 earned runs, 15 walks. He has not been as dialed in as he was to start the year. And that's what I'll say again. If Fried is not right, pack it up, because that's your game 1 starter. Bruce is in Flushing on the Fan. Before we break, what'd you think about tonight's game and the state of the Yankees?
Well, that's the reason why I called you. Tonight, you can blow taps on the Yankees. The season is done. Now, I could be being irrational. I admit that's a possibility. But there's something about this team over the season, and you went with your best pitcher, you had a lead, and you blew. Some years, it's just not meant to be.
Yeah, I guess I'm not telling anybody not to give up on the season, on the team anymore. I'm not telling anybody anything like that as far as, like, this team is frustrating. This team is not a fun watch. This team finds ways to lose. And I remember feeling that way in 2023 Obviously, Judge wasn't here, and Judge isn't here now. They're finding ways to lose where it's just like you can't. You have to be fooling yourself to try and find things to tell you that this team is winning anything this year, and I mean anything. Not the division, not the pennant, not the World Series. They're not going to win anything. They might get into the postseason, and that's going to suck because they could be. I don't know. I don't know what their future holds, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Now, before I get to Aaron Boone, I have a break the glass possibility. I know they won't do it, but if I was Hal Steinbrenner, seeing my season going down the drain, I would do this break the glass thing.
Call up Spencer Jones?
No. Fire Aaron Boone and bring in Willie Randolph to manage this team.
I was just with Willie.
Let me explain it why. First of all, he's fully capable. He managed the Mets. He was a captain on the Yankee team. Willie won't put up with this BS that's going on in this team.
Right.
If Willie was the manager, Jazz would have sat down the next game. That's how
he should have sat down that day.
Yes, for granted. But I know Hal's not going to do it. But if he had some guts and he had some of his dad in him, he would do it. But I know he's not going to do it.
So thanks for the call, Bruce. We got a break, and I was just with Willie Randolph at the Somerset Patriots. I posted his pic. I said it's always a good time with Willie because he's just got good energy about him. He's so good with people. He's so good with storytelling and making people feel some type of way about him because I think all of us have pretty fond memories of him, whether it was a player, coach. We all know how it went down with him being manager of the Mets. He's not going to get an opportunity to be a manager again in Major League Baseball. I'm sure he's at peace with that. I think he is humbled because he can hear people are saying it out there. Hey, Willie, why don't you come back and help the Yankees? Hey, Willie, why don't you come back and put a seminar on fielding and throwing for the Yankees? Like, he's flattered. Like, that's what people think of with Willie Randolph. Hey, this is a guy who knows his stuff. This is a guy who's a champion who did it. Like, but no, there is no break glass in case of emergency where the Yankees fire Aaron Boone and hire Willie Randolph. And, of course, Willie Randolph comes in. He's not taking no S. And then what if they still lose? You going to be mad at Willie Randolph then? Nah, Willie not going for that. He's not. He'll be at Old Timers Day, I believe. Actually, I don't want to put that out there, and he might not be there. I think he'll be there at Old Timers Day, and that's going to be interesting to have all that old energy, all those champions and championship rings in the building on Saturday. And I just want to see what the Yankees do leading up. Do they salvage this series against Texas? Do they get rolled Friday night against the Houston Astros? And then all of those guys come in here celebrating the 2000 World Series, hitting 25 years, talking about the times and what they did and this, and even playing on that field before they step out there. What will these modern day participation trophy Gen Z ass Yankees feel like with all those guys in the building? Will that do anything to fire them up against the hated Houston Astros? I don't know. 888-808-1019. Keith McPherson on the Fan. My last break, and then coming up, my last segment, taking all of your calls till 2 a.m. We'll be right back.
Yankees, Jets, or Giants, doesn't matter. WFAN breaks it all down.
The boy Rodney said the chat needs to be called the Chat Pack. I was thinking I like it because it rhymes. Might have something there with Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, but it's always nighttime. So I was thinking night owls, night crawlers, night watch. Night owls, night crawlers, night watch. I might make some shirts. For the loyal night watchers. Yeah, my boy Hector here. I know that. I see y'all, man. Yeah, Willie is the best, bro. I can't even put. Hopefully I put in the words to justify, what Willie is like, bro. Like, for real. Like, let me pull up the pic. When I was with him over the weekend, we did the celebration of the Black Yankees as they shed light on the Negro leagues, and they had two former Negro leaguers there, and then Willie has served as the like ambassador for the Somerset Patriots, who are first class themselves. Like, I can't tell you enough like how much I appreciate the Somerset Patriots and them appreciating me. So that's me on the left. Obviously, that's Willie Randolph in the middle. That's James W. Cobbin, who played for the New York Black Yankees in the 1950s, bruh. 1950, you do the math. If he played for the Negro Leagues, the New York Black Yankees in 1950 something, and it is 2025. How old you think this man is sitting in that chair with them Skechers on? I'll let you do the math. But yeah, when Willie gets the mic, bro, I said to Willie, I'm like, man, representation matters. And off camera, we had a longer discussion, but I had to make it quick. But I was like, me being black, me being a brother, I understand. Like, representation matters with me being on the radio, me doing the things I'm doing with the Yankees, even being out there, me being on all these different type of things. Like, there's a young brother out there watching me and is like connecting with me because he's like, I see another black dude winning. I see another black dude doing it. I can do that and more. So when I asked Willie his question, I'm like, man, what did it feel like back in the day being a Yankee, being a champion, being a captain, being a coach, being a manager, bro? Like, you're from New York, and there's so many little black kids probably looking at the TV like, mommy, that's me. I want to be like him when I grew up. And yeah, he said, he kind of took a deep breath and he gave a long answer. I don't even remember the answer, but it's basically like he knew what it meant. But that kind of pride and responsibility is part of what made him work hard, made him show up every day, made him not make errors, made him, be clutch, made him go about his business a certain type of way because what he represented. What do these Yankees represent? Who do they represent? Who do they think about when they go out there and embarrass all of us? I don't know. I don't know when the standard went down. I don't know when. I do know. Oh, as I say that, here's them girls on the look at Trent Grisham, bro. Yeah, did y'all see that on TV? That boy Trent Grisham was drinking his water, watching the Texas two-step, the dance team on top of the dugout. Bird is going to get himself DFA'd on the bro. We gave up Rafael Flores for him and Rock Reggio, or not Rafael Flores, Rock Reggio. That's kind of crazy. All right, here we go. I got to hit these phone calls quickly because this is all for my show now. All right, ready? In 5, 4, 3. All right, no time to waste here. This show is about to be over. This show is going to smoke by, but that's fine. Like, who really wants to talk about losers? I'm a loser. I'm not a loser. That's the Evan drop. The Yankees are losers. I'm not losing. I didn't throw any pitches. I didn't have any swings. I didn't do any of that. I just watched. I was at the crib watching. The Mets lost, and I'm like, all right, we're going to amplify the Mets losing because I feel like all day I listen to WFAN, and I'm like, oh, the Mets are on the back seat right now. I said, that's a true test of who's big bro and little bro. When you lose and you kind of just get forgotten about, like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. But the Yankees losing too, so it's the Yankees fundamentals. They got to fire the manager. Where is Aaron Judge? Hal Steinbrenner, if George was alive. Brian Cashman, get a refund. The season is over. I'm like, what about the Mets?
What about the Mets? Mike is in Binghamton on the Fan. Go for it, Mike.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Good to talk to you, sir.
You got it.
I'm a longtime Met fan. Grew up in Queens, New York. Lived in Binghamton for a while, so a lot of guys came up to the minor league system here. I'm happy with David Stearns there. You got a lot of help in here for the bullpen, which is great. But the starting pitching has been shaky, man. It's been shaky with a few guys. But speaking of, why don't we, maybe consider bringing up a guy like Brendan Sport, who's been, showing significant progress, as opposed to, Frankie Montas. It's like it's raising a couple of question marks, man. I mean, do you think that's something that the Mets should consider?
And they said that they like their development.
Yeah, well, actually, Mendoza spoke today and Stern spoke today, and they were obviously asked about it. And I feel like they're on the same page as far as being like, nope. Let's see, Carlos Mendoza on if Nolan McLean and Brandon Sproat are ready to come up to the major league level now. Actually, we have the audio. We'll play it. Thanks for the call, Mike. So, yeah, Carlos Mendoza was asked about it, and also David Stearns was asked about it. We have Carlos Mendoza and Stearns in the system. So instead of me reading their quotes, here's the Mets manager who went to the Aaron Boone School of Media Training, Carlos Mendoza, on these young arms and where they are and if they're coming up anytime soon.
It's a good question. I mean, they continue to develop, and they continue to put themselves in a position where, like, all right, we're going to have that conversation. They're knocking out the door. They continue to have experience in AAA. We're, August now, and they've thrown a lot down there.
Okay. So, it's a good question. But the answer is no. And also the president of baseball operations, David Stearns, was in front of mics and cameras. And here's what he had to say when asked the same question.
I think it's always a combination of when developmentally those guys are ready and also like when there's the need and how to fit it on the roster. And so we may get to the point where we decide that it's the best thing to do to bring one or both of them here, but we're not at that point quite yet.
Yeah, so it's a no for today. It's a no for right now. They will continue with Frankie Montas. They will continue to hope, and hope is not a strategy, but hope that Clay Holmes hasn't hit a wall completely. Kodai Senga can be better, and that a couple more starts from Minaya. You get one good one out of him, and David Peterson, and yeah, you spent at the trade deadline for 2 rentals, and they're great rentals, and Ryan Helsley and Tyler Rogers, especially when you add them to Edwin Diaz. But when you spent that much on 2 rentals, that tells me that you have intentions on winning this year, right? You're not going to get that far with the rotation as is. So what is the backup plan? And I mean, I would think that you would put that backup plan into action sooner, right? And have those kids start pitching at this major league level, at least one, maybe Sproat, right? We've already seen Sproat. Didn't we see Sproat last year? Like maybe have one of them pitch, because they're not going to be pitching in the postseason. You got to get to the postseason, and you can go bullpen game, or you can have your best 3 guys go. But I don't know. They got to be thinking of cooking up something. They got to be working on something. Antonio's in Dover Plains on the Fan next. What's up, man?
Hey, Keith. What's up, man?
Keith. Yeah, quick show. Listen, we got losers. That's what we have. We have 2 teams. One team can't play defense or run the bases. The other one can't pitch and can't hit with runners in scoring position. It's embarrassing. I don't understand. They didn't go all in. They're not ready to win. Now they didn't go all in. They're saving these prospects for what? What are we saving prospects for? Let's go all in. San Diego went all in. They got all these good players that went all in, and we're not ready to win. We got one team that, like I said, doesn't know how to play defense, can't run the bases, and they're not held accountable. And we got these 2 managers just looking for excuses to defend their players, and we're just not gonna make it. Even if we make it to the playoffs, the Mets have no starting pitchers. We got a good bullpen, but we got pitchers that can't go 5 innings. And then the Yankees, they brought all these relievers. Also, the same thing. They have no pitching, and they can't play defense, and they don't care. That's the whole point.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, thanks for the call, Antonio. What I'll say is, like, your confidence right now in the Mets and Yankees can't be high. And I don't care if you're a pie in the sky. I don't care what kind of fan you are. If you're a glass house, like, just go off of what you've seen. Go off of your eyes. When they play better teams, and they're playing 500 ball clubs, They're playing teams like I know the Texas Rangers are a little bit better. I know that the Marlins, which I was telling you before the series, it's not your father's Marlins or whatever Marlins you think. I was going through they beat the Royals, they beat the Padres, they beat the Brewers. They've been hot coming out of the All-Star break. They were hot before then, right? They've got a chip on their shoulder. They think that their own fan base quit on them. You don't have a fan base. But yeah, there's not much confidence right now with what you're seeing because it's hard to line it up. It's hard to project. So something's got to change. And yeah, I joke about Mendoza being from the Aaron Boone School of Media Training, but I felt like his answers today, he defended Brett Beatty's throw. He also defended not sending Tyrone Taylor. Like, nah, bro. I'm like, that is straight out of the Aaron Boone playbook. That is straight out of the Aaron Boone playbook. You got to send Tyrone Taylor. He's motoring. Just for him to put on the brakes, it's like, yo, that Carlos Santana making that throw from the outfield. He dropped the ball. Go back and look at the video. In real time, I didn't realize that. Then later, the video popped up. I'm like, this guy dropped the ball. So he was already under pressure, succumbing to the pressure. In baseball, in your building, with the game on the line in the 9th inning, he's got to get that ball. He dropped it, so he would have had to pick it up again, make a perfect throw. The catcher would have had to make a perfect tag with Tyrone Taylor coming around third base going, nah, I don't know. You can't tell me that. And then with Brett Beatty, I know some of you might have thought he's got to get the out. The out was there for him at second. Set your feet and make the throw. You need to have some awareness, some urgency, some cautiousness with the game on the line and not throw the ball away like that. That throws the game away. You know these guys are struggling with runners in scoring position, even if it's Manfred's man on second. You know these guys, their offense isn't that potent where they're just going to be able to recover from that. Anywho, let's go to Jonathan out in Los Angeles on the Fan. John, I don't know what to tell you, my guy. It's not looking so good.
It's sure not, bro. But I mean, I don't know, bro. My guy Keith. Look, bro. At this point, I always used to defend Boone and be like, this. At this point, I want some repercussion, bro. I want to see something. I know we're gonna see the same puppet even if they fired him. It's just like you say, and everyone says it. Oh, but were they gonna hire the same guys? Same things is gonna happen. Well, I could care less, bro. Hopefully, the team will spark up. All right, because the Pirates and I think another team, they have a better record than the Yankees since I think June or late May, man. It's just coming to the point.
Lot of teams,
dude,
bro.
You know damn well Devin Williams is not our closer. We got Bednar and we got the Giants closer right there. I mean, why are we gonna keep putting this guy towards the end? I knew it. You know what? Let me tell you something really quick, Keith. Really quick. I guessed it 2 times. When I was at the World Series, Game 1, when I seen Nestor Cortez, I had that feeling. This game is over. I swear to God, bro. When I seen that eventually Devin Williams was going to pitch today, I see the game is done. I texted my friend. He was like, damn, bro, you called it. I knew it, just like every other Yankee fan that's seen it.
He hadn't pitched in a month. He's not a reliever. He's coming out of the pen in Game Series. In the World Series, Game 1, play stupid games. You go win some stupid-ass prizes.
Exactly. Really quick, Keith. How long is it going to take? Last year, it took a while to change from Holmes to Weaver. How long is it going to take to change Devin Williams to most likely Bednar? And one more thing, bro. I'm not that type of guy that I'm going to go like that, but someone needs to check the guy answering the phones. Where's Big Z when we need him? That's all I got to say, bro. Have a good night, my guy. Go Yanks.
Thanks for the call, Jonathan. I don't know what your beef with Fleegs is. Fleegs probably like, yo, chill. Like, it's about to be over. I have no idea what the screening process is like or what goes on behind the glass. But no, back to what you're saying. How long will it take for Devin Williams to lose his closer role? This is probably his last month. He'll get plenty of opportunities this month. They'll chalk that one up to Jock Peterson was due. They'll chalk that one up to, he got. But they get got because they want to get cute. Whenever they want to get cute and they want to do some little things here, they get got. I don't know, man. They're in a bad one. But then going back to what you said about you want some repercussions, there is no repercussions right now. They're not going to fire Boone, one. And then, him yelling at the players or showing up, I don't know what else. He took Jazz, out of eyesight. So that is for optics. I mean, he need to ask him anyway. I'd be like, what? Like, they need to get on the same page before the end of the game. And then also with him, with Travis Chapman. You saw how animated that conversation was. That's all you're going to get. Actions speak louder than words. I need action. I'm about that action, boss. I need action. After all is said and done, more is said than done. I need things to get done here. I don't need to talk. I don't watch the post game. I told y'all that years ago on the Fan. My first year coming on the Fan, I was like, oh yeah, shout out to Sweeney Murdy, because like I had to stop watching Aaron Boone's post game. I think in 2019, 2020 maybe. I think it was the 2020 season because 2019 was fun. 2020 season, I had to stop watching the post game because I'm like, bro, I already know what I'm gonna get. We already know what we're gonna get. It's all right in front of us. We're going to turn the corner. We got to win. We're hell-bent on being a champion. Yeah, we had some good at-bats. Yeah, we made some good pitches. Oh, this guy's elite. Yeah, it's only a couple bad plays here and there, but, we're going to turn it around. Once I realized that, before I was on the radio and I have the sleep schedule, I remember my wife being like, you got to chill. Like, you're getting in a bed mad as hell. I'm like, what wrong? I'm like, Aaron Boone in his post-game, bro. I can't believe he said that after all that. It's just words. Once I got over that, now I just realized it's words, action. We need action. It doesn't matter what Aaron Boone says. It doesn't matter. Like you guys might feel better if he benches somebody, but like I said, with the Jazz thing, it's funny. And I'll go back to the phone because I got 2 more calls and I'm out of here. I was telling a friend today, my boy Jackson, I said, remember the unwritten rules of baseball? How come nobody talks about the unwritten rules of baseball? Oh, because they're evaporating. They're slowly disappearing. There are unwritten rules of baseball where you do something stupid like that, you're coming out of the game. Like, you come out of the game to set example to your teammates and to show the fans and everyone watching, this is not acceptable. These are millionaire ball players. You can't just be screwing around out there. And what Jazz did, there is no explanation for that. You thought he was going to drop the ball? Even if he drops the ball, you're not getting a second base. I still can't. I thought the Wells thing was bad. I think this is just as stupid. You got doubled up there, and then you said you do the same thing. Or I'm like, wow. Like, they find ways. They discover new ways. They uncover new ways. They unlock new stupidities in 2025. And I already knew they weren't going to bench him because he was in a slump. They needed his bat in that game. And then he homers in the next game and he still does his whole dance. The unwritten rules is, the dance is off. You're in a bad slump. We're in a losing streak. You're back to where we were. And the guy that we traded you for is winning the game in a revenge game on Saturday with 2 solo shots. And meanwhile, you're getting doubled up on first base in no man's land, a place you should have never been. But it's all good. It's all good. Bobby's in Manhattan on the Fan next. What's up, Bobby?
Hey, Keith. Thanks for taking the call. I've got a 2-part question for you, but just to go to what you were talking about between the Jazz and the Wells blunders, I actually think the Wells one is worse, specifically because he's a catcher. I always learned from day one in T-ball that fundamentals are most important. The catcher's the one who's supposed to run the field. So for the fact that he wasn't able to remember how many outs there were is insane. He couldn't get a fly ball in the air tonight.
At least he took accountability, though. He afterwards said, I was just being an idiot. I don't know what I was doing. I saw some people walking towards the dugout, but I just didn't know how many outs there were. I was being an idiot. Jazz, in his bravado and his almost cocky way about it, his answer, I turned that off. I'm like, I don't need to hear this guy talk about he was trying to make a play. There was no play to be made, and don't double down on the stupidity saying you would do it again. Don't you hate that in baseball when guys make stupid-ass mistakes and they say, oh, if the situation was the same, I'd do it again? No, I would hope that you learned.
Well, yeah, that was even worse, trying to hear him explain the clubhouse. It was ridiculous. Watching this team is foul, medieval-style torture night after night. I just honestly can't wait to get St. John's basketball back on the horn, because that's the only thing I have to look forward to at this point. And then the other thing, before I get to the questions, is this guy, Devin Williams. Listen, we changed our beard policy for this guy. He's a loser with a 5+ ERA. So the first question is, I know everyone's talking about Bednar, but what do you think about Tim Hill going to close the role. He's proved himself time and time again out of the bullpen. One of the few guys who can actually throw the ball.
Yeah, that gives us 5 closers, sure.
Yeah, exactly. And they all stink, but at least put Tim Hill in there and give him a try. And then the second question I have is, if we get swept by the Rangers this week, what do you think about bringing Girardi back and actually instilling some discipline in this team?
Thanks for the call, Bobby. They fired that man. I think he's got too much pride, and he's in the booth with Michael K. Last call goes to Rico and Massapequa Park. Go for it.
Keith, what's up, my man? What time can you go till? 3 o'clock?
Nah, Big Mac is going to take it away any minute now.
Okay, so I'm a major Atlanta Braves fan, and you know what our season's like.
Yeah.
All right. And our lineup on the Atlanta Braves team is you can't even compare that to the Yankees. The Yankees lineup isn't special. It's nothing. You got Fried, who is on that? Bellinger's a good ball player. The big
Grisham's having a career year.
You know,
Jazz is in a funk. Goldie is not the same guy.
They're not good enough.
And Judge is down. Stanton has come around, but yeah, they're not good enough.
They're not gonna fire Boone. They're not gonna fire Boone, brother.
They're gonna make excuses. They're gonna start with Garrett Cole went down. Thanks for the call, Rico. And then Heel was down until August. Oh, and then Clark Schmidt also went down. Oh, and Judge got hurt and missed a little bit of time. And you know what? It's tough. Baseball's tough. There's a lot of good teams. The league has closed the gap on us. The Marlins can sweep us now. I just gotta, get me some football, man. I gotta see some plays. I gotta see some formations, some defenses. Big Mac's coming up next. I'm out. Good night.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM. It's Evan and Kiki. Afternoons on the Fan 101.9 FM.
So the Yankees were able to not trade top-end prospects, at least ones that aren't ranked very high, because you never know what the next few years are going to look like. And they were able to bring in 6 different players. 5 of the 6 are...
Listen to Evan and Kiki.
Light work, quick show. Told y'all I wasn't even gonna break a sweat. Appreciate y'all though. Maybe we get a longer one tomorrow. Hit that like on the way out. Again, I'm monetized on Twitch, so join up there. I gotta go home and try and sleep. Have a good one.